This is the story is called The Price of Power. How a village girl dismantled a wealthy man's empire. Let's begin. The harvest festival in Isimiri had always been a time of joy, laughter, and celebration. Fires flickered as villagers danced, filling the air with drumming rhythms that echoed deep into the night. Amara, radiant in her bright attire, moved gracefully among her friends, her laughter carrying on the breeze. She was known for her beauty and quiet strength. Yet tonight, someone's gaze lingered longer than the rest. A sleek black car pulled up at the edge of the square, and out stepped a man unlike any the villagers had seen before. Mr. Chijioke, the wealthy businessman from Nkalu, dressed in a suit as polished as his reputation. Whispers rippled through the crowd as he walked toward Amara, eyes intent and calculating. "You don't belong here," he said, in a voice smooth as silk, with an undertone of something sharper. "A beauty like yours deserves more than this." His words wrapped around her like a spell. He described a life beyond the dusty village roads, one filled with luxury, beauty, and power. Amara's heart pounded. She had often dreamed of a world beyond her village, but standing here, hearing the promise in his words, felt like fate. Her mother watched them closely, her gaze a silent warning. Later that night, she whispered to Amara, "Beware of men who offer the world. Often, it's not theirs to give." But the taste of the city, of life with a man like Chijioke, was a temptation too great. Against her mother's wishes, she accepted Chijioke's invitation to Nkalu, believing this was her chance for greatness. The city was all that Chijioke promised and more. Nkalu was a glittering world of high glass towers, bustling markets, and streets alive with energy and wealth. Chijioke's mansion stood like a palace, its marble floors chilling her feet and its grand chandeliers casting a golden glow over everything in sight. Amara marveled at the opulence, fine silk dresses, jewelry that sparkled like the stars above Nkalu, feasts with powerful people who spoke her name like she mattered. For a while she was enchanted by it all, but the glamour wore thin as Chijioke's control tightened. He questioned her every move, discouraged visits to her family, and dismissed any mention of her village. "That world is beneath you now," he'd say, his voice dismissive, his words slicing through her defenses. One evening, as she explored the vast mansion, she found a door at the end of a dark hallway. When she asked Chijioke about it, his demeanor turned cold. "Stay away from that room," he said, eyes narrowed with a warning that made her shiver. Her curiosity grew, gnawing at her every day. One night, while Chijioke was away, Amara slipped into his study and found a key hidden in a drawer. With trembling hands, she opened the forbidden door. Inside, she found stacks of documents, photos, and files that told a story darker than she could have imagined. Her heart pounded as she uncovered the truth. Chijioke's wealth wasn't built on fair deals and hard work. It was founded on manipulation, bribery, and exploitation. Her village's drought was no accident. Chijioke had diverted water supplies to his factories, leaving her people to suffer. Her hands shook as she uncovered photos of a woman and 2 children, his family, living abroad, hidden from the world and from her. Her shock quickly turned to anger. The man who had offered her the world was the very reason her family and friends had suffered. She knew she couldn't stay silent, but she couldn't expose him alone. Determined to bring justice, Amara reached out to Emeka, a fearless journalist known for his work exposing the corruption of powerful figures. They met in a secluded cafe, where Amara arrived cloaked in a scarf, her heart racing with a mix of fear and resolve. "Do you understand the risk you're taking?" Emeka asked, his voice low as he studied the files. "Chijioke has friends in high places. If we do this, there's no going back." Amara met his gaze, her resolve unshaken. "I won't let him get away with this. My village, my family, They deserve justice. For weeks, they worked in secret, piecing together the case against Chijioke. Amara's days grew tense. Each step she took could mean discovery, and each meeting with Emeka could spell the end. But she was determined, knowing she had the power to end Chijioke's empire. One night, Chijioke returned earlier than expected. As he entered his study, he saw Amara closing the door to his hidden room, clutching a file, his face twisted in rage. "You think you can betray me?" he sneered, his voice laced with anger. "Everything I gave you, and this is how you repay me." Amara held his gaze, unflinching. "You didn't give me anything but lies. My people suffer because of you. I'll make sure the world knows who you really are." His fury melted into a smirk, though a flicker of fear crossed his eyes. "Do you think you're powerful enough to bring me down? You're nothing without me." She stepped back, her voice steady and defiant. "Watch me." The next morning, headlines exploded across Nkalu. Business tycoon exposed, corruption, lies, and exploitation. The scandal spread like wildfire. Chijioke's friends in power distanced themselves, his investors pulled out, and the people of Nkalu turned on him, disgusted by the truth. As his empire crumbled, Chijioke was left with nothing. His power, his influence, his wealth, all shattered by a truth he'd tried so hard to hide. When Amara returned to Isimiri, she expected judgment, but her village welcomed her with open arms, her mother's embrace full of pride. The people celebrated her courage, grateful for her bravery in exposing the truth. Standing among her people, she felt a peace she had longed for, a peace built not on wealth, but on integrity. Amara's story became a legend, a tale of courage and resilience, a reminder that even the strongest walls of deceit could be shattered by a single voice. Let Amara's story serve as a lesson for you. It illustrates the power of courage and integrity, revealing that true strength often lies not in wealth or influence, but in the conviction to stand for justice. In a world where voices can be silenced by those in power, her resilience reminds us that real change comes from individual bravery. Amara risked her safety and the life she was promised to expose the truth, a reminder to hold on to personal values even when faced with temptation and intimidation. Today, her actions inspire us to speak up, advocate for transparency, and remain committed to integrity, regardless of the challenges or risks involved.